So now, good people, we come to the orange set. I'll talk about that rather shocking sketch in front of you in a minute. Um, like the pinks and the light blues, which we've already seen in previous videos, the orange set are actually not connected geographically, apart from the fact they're all in the centre of London. No, the oranges is our first set since the browns three linked thematically. With the browns, the theme was relative poverty and cheapness. With the oranges, the theme that links them is law and order. And so this sketch, as you can just see in the bottom left hand corner, is Bow Street. The name of Bow Street is a little bit confusing because it's in the centre of London, not really near the area of Bow at all. Bow Street is actually very close to Covent Garden, the former fruit and veg market, which is now London's unofficial capital of street entertainment. In fact, if you look at the sketch, on the extreme left-hand side, you can see the arch, which is part of the entrance to Covent Garden, the Bow Street entrance. Prior to being included amongst the orange set of properties on the London Monopoly Board, Bow Street was probably most famous for being the home of the Bow Street Runners. This was a forerunner of the, if you'll pardon the pun, of the first police force. It was a group of volunteer law enforcement officers founded by London magistrate and novelist Henry Fielding. They were disbanded soon after the formation of the Metropolitan Police Force in the 1820s. Courts in Bow Street were originally held in the homes of city magistrates, including Fielding himself. And between 1878 and 1881, the current building, which houses the Magistrates' Court, which is one of the most famous in England, and Bow Street Police Station was built. The police station closed in 1992, and the last case in the Magistrates' Court was heard in 2006. The building's still there, but since 2021 it's housed a hotel, which is quite appropriate for the Monopoly theme, and a museum of local police history. Right then, you might remember how I liked the sketch in the last video of Northumberland Avenue that I made with my Statler dark green pen. Well, I got well and truly paid back for my hubris with this red sketch of Bow Street. The sketch itself is competent enough, but I think you'll probably agree that red is horrible. It's far too bright, and the darkest points under the arch portico of the Royal Opera House are almost shiny. One of my fellow sketchers in an internet group, whom I asked to look at it, euphemistically commented that the red is pretty lively on the eye. My response was that it's not just lively, it's practically hyperactive. Live and learn. Well, our next orange property leads me to make an observation. As a quiz question master, I have in the past asked the question, which street on the traditional London Monopoly board doesn't actually exist in real life? And the answer to which is Marlborough Street. And this is because it never has been Marlborough Street. It's always been Great Marlborough Street. Yeah, it's a bit of a trick question, but trust me, quizzes are full of those. The street is named after John Churchill, the first Duke of Marlborough. And in the view of Queen Anne, he was pretty great. It was first laid out in 1704 during her reign. Like Bow Street, Great Marlborough Street was home to one of the most important magistrates' courts in London, but this one closed in 1998. On my previous video, I mentioned about a number of cigarette brands being named after areas on the London Monopoly board. One of the most remarkable things about Marlborough Street, or Great Marlborough Street, is that it gives its name to the Marlborough cigarette brand. Makers Philip Morris had a factory on the street at one time, and they used an Americanized version of the name for a cigarette brand that could not seem less British or more American if it tried. Somehow, I can't see the Marlborough man riding on horseback past Liberty's. I mentioned Liberty's because it's the timbered building in my sketch. This is the side of the store, since the main entrance is on Regent Street in the green set. So we started this street with a quiz question, so let's end it with one too. What links the President's desk in the Oval Office of the White House with Liberty's of Regent Street? No? Well, they both used timbers from Royal Navy ships in their construction. HMS Resolute for the desk, and hence it being known as the Resolute desk, and HMS Impregnable and HMS Hindustan for liberties, all of which suggests that HMS Impregnable was considerably more pregnable than the name might lead you to think. Unlike Bow Street and Great Marlborough Street, the Orange Set's boss property, Vine Street, wasn't home to a magistrate's court. However, it was at one time home to one of the busiest police stations, not just in London but the whole world. Vine Street itself was named after a pub, the Vine. It's possible that the pub may have drawn its name from a Roman vineyard nearby, but that's a matter of pure speculation. The street was laid out in the 1680s. Was originally longer than it is now, but when Regent Street was built, we'll come to that with the Greens, it bisected Vine Street and led to one end of Vine Street becoming a dead end. Vine Street Police Station was built at number 10 and had to be rebuilt after a fire in the 18th century. Vine Street Nick, as it was colloquially known, actually closed in 1940 and services were removed to West London Police Station in Savile Row. I bet they were well-tailored policemen. Due to a rise in crime in the area, the station was reopened in 1966 and then closed for good in 1997 and demolished in 2005. Incidentally, Vine Street is one of the London monopoly streets without licensed premises, so I'm reliably informed that the etiquette for a London Monopoly board pub crawl is to take a drink in one of the hostelries on nearby Swallow Street. Incidentally, the Monopoly pub crawl is not something I recommend or that I would ever have attempted. I'd have been drunk by Whitechapel and comatose by Angel Islington. When I draw, sometimes despite all the hard work and effort I put into the sketch, the results can be really disappointing. Sometimes though, just occasionally, it really comes off. I say it as shouldn't, I'm really proud of this sketch. The brickwork took hours, literally hours, but I love the way that this one conveys the idea of a very bright and sunny day. Well, in the next video, we'll look at the red set, where I'd already sketched two of the properties more than once before. So I hope you can make it. See you then.